Friends, how you doing? It's the 3rd, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm not going to fix my sweater. I just noticed it's looking funky. Just a couple of little things I wanted to... One thing I wanted to try to illustrate today, just to try to help illustrate my perspective, because that's all we have is perspective, and it's just really helpful, and it's helping me. That's why I keep trying to share this, okay? So, this is kind of a visual aid, as it were. So, some of you folks have heard this Bright Eyes album, Casadega. Came out in the 2007 or 8? 2007. And this is my favorite Bright Eyes album. Connor is not a personal friend of mine, but we know each other, and I have hung out with him. And was at his very first public show when he was maybe 11 or 12. Anyway, this album, as you know, has an award-winning cover. You look at it like this, and you don't really see anything. You look closely, and you see these little sort of lines, dots, or whatever. But the album comes with this thing that they call the spectral decoder. I forget exactly what kind of lens this is. But when you take this lens and you put it up to the album and you slide it around, then you start to see what's actually on here. Now, the reason why this came to mind to me to use as an illustration for how I talk about all we have is perspective. Everyone thinks that they know what reality is, and that reality is hard and fast, and that someone has it right, which I think is ridiculous. This illustrates that. It's like all that any one person can do is deal with what he is seeing and perceiving. And as this thing illustrates, depending on your perspective, you're seeing the same thing, but are you? Do you see the same thing as anyone else does? Are you decoding it the same way as other people are? I wish I could make it more clear that we operate on what we perceive and experience. And it's so much more healthy for me to remember that in conversation, so that I don't talk to people in absolutes like, well, this is the way it is, and that's the way it is, and if you do this, then it'll be like this, and if you do that, it'll be like that. The way that most people talk, completely oblivious to this real information, which is all you can do is share with me your perspective on reality. Just like that old, I forget what you call them, but there's that old story about the blindfolding people and then having them all go up to an elephant and describe what it is that they're feeling. And depending on which part of the elephant, that's what you get, and that's what the people think they don't know because they can't see the rest. You know, everything is so splintered and scattered in the world now, and everyone is screaming for their way, and I want it this way, and I want it that way, and I know I'm right, or if you would just do it my way, or not even that, I just want what I want, and be damned with the rest of you. I'm going to get this, you know. I don't know. This information just really helps me get along with people a whole lot better. You know, I told you that one of my best friends just moved back to town, Frank. Frank is a very good friend of mine. We're very close, and so we talk very real. And I was visiting yesterday, and we were talking about some current events. And you know, we just had a shooting at one of the music clubs here in Omaha on Halloween at Slowdown. It really sucks. There was a rap show there, and some knucklehead shot someone. The person died. Of course, here come all the rabid opinions about gun control and what we should do, and none of them will work. And my friend Frank gave a perfect example of, well, we should. You know, first that word "should" is a warning sign, because that's a very dangerous and destructive word, should. He just says, well, we should have everyone register their guns. You just like you got to register. I said, it makes sense on paper, but the thing that I got to tell you is that you're not even thinking about all the people who don't give a shit about the law. They don't do things because of the law. It's like we all have these perspectives and opinions, and we think we're right, and if we just do it my way, it'll be fixed. Rather than being able to get a larger perspective and realize, well, everyone has a way of seeing things and doing things fairly unique to their own reality. And if somehow we can find a way to incorporate that into the way that we interact with each other and communicate, it's my perspective that we could improve the general tone of life on this planet. It's not going to happen, but because I can see it, I just feel the need to say it. And I feel the need to say it more as I think more and more of how to say it. I want to do it. Just like this reveals, this is reality. This field, that's what I'm trying to say. This undefined field is what reality actually is. But because we're down in it, what we perceive is what it comes through our perceptions and our senses, and then therefore we assume that is it. That's reality for everybody, which has led to this madness, this mad way of living that we live, which mainly comprises of insisting it's my way or the highway and killing everybody. And being so blind as to see, well, I'll get this all for myself and then I'll have it, not realizing that everything you do and everything that happens on this planet affects everyone. The short-sightedness of the people who have all the money, who are squirreling things away in bunkers and hidden places, thinking that they're going to have it made. They're going to escape whatever travesty we've loosed upon this planet. Well, it might, if that scenario were to actually happen, those folks might have what they think they need for a while, but will they win? I highly doubt it. It's just so unwise to think something like that is. It's not even wise. So I sort of talk about music. I do like this album by Bright Eyes. I sort of talk about music, but I talk about what's really on my mind, which is just watching the world. I suppose if I had money to spend and blow, well, I would be busy just consuming and indulging myself. But since I don't, I go about my daily business and I observe. I observe things. It really appears to me that many of us could do well with a bit more slowing down and observing and contemplating and trying to understand ourselves and what it is we're perceiving. On the radio this morning there was either on NPR or I think it was on NPR, there was a report about how the people are less religious now since 2007. Those studies they do. And I just want to say that, to me, religion has served its purpose, but it is not an ultimate answer. It is not a fix for mankind. It's a divider. It's just as much a divider as anything else when you talk about religion, because you're talking about a specific creed, a specific set of beliefs and ways, as opposed to the word spirituality, which is more all-encompassing and, to my mind, is more of a realistic view of what could be viable on a large scale, of encouraging a more spiritual connection and way of going about life, less focused on material gain and more on establishing a flow of life that works for most people, works for people. It's been done before. Okay, those are things on my mind. Folks, that someone asked in my last video, where can I buy my records? And I pointed him to the links below the video. I haven't received any orders yet, but below my videos, I leave a list of links. One to my blog spot, one to Bandcamp. You can buy records you can buy directly from me, CDs and records at my blog site. If you buy them at Bandcamp, Bandcamp gets a percentage. Buy directly from me, buy it from me. Bandcamp didn't do anything for me, except for let me put my stuff online. Some people like to buy from Bandcamp with the perception that somehow it's more legitimate because they're buying it from Bandcamp. But Bandcamp is just this window on a street. The order goes directly to me. You're still buying it directly from me, but when you go to Bandcamp, Bandcamp takes money out of my pocket. And of course, they are providing me a service. You found out about the record through them, but you see what I'm saying? I give you both options. You can buy directly from me, okay? DVH Recordings, all right? A couple videos back, I think a young person, I think by checking the person's channel, it's a young person. They request that I shout them out by name. And the answer is no, and this is why, okay? And if you get upset, this is going to be a learning experience for you if you're open to it. I shout out people on here when I want to, people who I know and interact with. You're a viewer, you say you like my channel, that's cool. But I don't know you, and I don't know that you're real, and people are so determined. Some people are so determined to fuck with you that they'll try anything. So such a request to shout out someone I don't even know, I feel no obligation to respond to that. I don't know that you're real. And the other thing is, such requests can backfire. So say I do a shout out to a so-and-so who I have no idea who you are. And then the next thing you know, every next video, I have these anonymous requests for this shout out. No, I'm not, no. If you want to establish a rapport with me, start making videos and point me in your direction so I can see who you are. And find out if you're real. Maybe you'll become a friend, okay? Okay, folks, try to make sense out of it. Try to do good.